each other for years. It's been a while since we talked, like in person, I think. But yeah,
Yeah,
how are you doing?
I'm doing great. And I just have to say, it's actually Call.
Call.
So,
Okay, thank you.
Kristin
Yeah,
Kahl.
thank you. No, I'll thank you for that correction. Yeah, because I am terrible with names and I need all the help I can get. So
I
thank
get
you.
it all the time. So
Yeah,
I'm kind of used to it, but
yeah.
I
No,
got
no,
it.
no. Thank you. No, because I get Jason, Justin. So no,
Mhm.
I know the struggle. No, thank you. So Kristin Kahl. Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome. Good, good. Yeah. So what's up?
Oh, just going through a lot as usual, lots of life changes, lots of fun stuff going on in life. I don't know, like just cruising really. Um,
Cool, cool.
yeah.
So I'm in the chat. I'm gonna post all of your links. So Kristen, she's gonna show us some of her artwork. We're gonna, tell some stories. I love stories, because you live in a van. Like right now, you're in like a van, right?
Yeah, it's a 26-foot shuttle
Yeah,
bus that my
yeah,
partner and I converted about 5 years ago. So we've been
yeah.
full time in it
Cool.
for 3.5 years,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
we've been traveling for about a year and a half, doing independent contracting through this company that builds display sheds. So we've been building
Wow. Okay.
like the sheds you see in like Lowe's parking lots, like that
Right.
kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool. And that's awesome. Yeah. So I'm gonna have I told some artists, I'm like, hey, I'm having like, so you're my first artist I'm having, interview with. So I mean that's
Nice.
super cool. So you're definitely the first. So I'm gonna see if they have any questions or anything, pop up in the chat. But I'll keep that open. So awesome. Well, yeah. So I guess we could go back. Like, when's the first time we met? Like, it's been. I know it's been a minute.
You know, I was just talking to my sisters about this last night because I'm like, oh, you guys remember Judson, right? And they were
Yeah.
both like, I don't think I
Who?
knew him.
Right.
So I was trying to figure it out because my older sister is only a year older than me.
Right.
So I feel like we met when I was a senior in high school because she would
Yeah.
have been off at college already, and it would explain how
That makes sense. Okay.
she doesn't remember you because she was also in choir and
Right.
doing the same stuff. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. I remember. So, gosh, I was probably like 19 or 20, something like that. So I was out of high school, but I was looking for like a church at the time in Winston-Salem, and so like I went to like a lot of different churches, and like and I don't know, I'm kind of like I've been working on this over the years, but I'm kind of an introvert, so it takes a lot for me to like open up, and stuff. So I don't know. I think I came to like your church that like your family was going to and stuff, and everybody was like super nice. They had like a singles like group, and like and then I love to play music. So I remember like meeting Eric DeLong, and getting involved in like the music, and that was fun, playing in that, and it wasn't my favorite kind of music, but it was, it was fun to play in that and stuff. But yeah, and I remember like, you and like your family, I loved your mom. I can't remember her name, but
Yeah.
yeah, she was always like super nice, like super
Yeah,
bubbly, like, and just
she
like,
remembers you.
yeah, just really like down to earth, and like not like when you go to some places, people can be really like nice to your face, but like, a different way. And she seemed really like just genuine, and you did too, like for sure. So yeah. So yeah, and I have good memories. I have good memories, like the people there and stuff. Do you talk to anybody from there, like a lot, or kind
I
of?
mean, kind of here and there on
Right.
like Instagram or something, like
Yeah.
we I I like I grew up in Lexington, North Carolina and
Right.
went to school out there, and it's just like very rural, and I
Right.
didn't really connect with a lot of people at school. So my church friends were like my friends.
Right. Right.
And So we still like keep tabs on each other and stuff, but
Right.
it's not like we're tight. We don't like go visit each other or anything like
Right.
that. We
Right.
just like to, make sure that we're
Right.
doing well and
Yeah.
check in on each other just from time to time. And
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't really like, man, I'm so bad at keeping in touch. I have two friends that I talk to regularly and like
Right.
visit regularly, and we've known each other for about 12 years. And beyond them, I just like, how do people have time for too many friends? Like, I don't know how to
Yeah.
balance having a ton of people to like visit and talk to and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, two is good. I have my partner and my two best
Right.
friends, and I'm pretty covered.
Right. Right. Cool. Well, I got all your links in the chat I posted, and then I'm gonna see if anybody like has any questions, coming up and stuff. But yeah, definitely check out her work. She's got an awesome. I'm new to TikTok, so I'm very like probably still figuring it out, But she's on TikTok, Instagram. The TikToks are awesome because they're just really like good videos, and a lot of times I'm just looking for stuff that's not has to do with the news or politics. So
Yeah.
anything that's like lighthearted about artwork or anything is just it's like kind of like therapy for me. So I'm like always seeking stuff like that. So content is like super good. Also Etsy, your Etsy store is amazing. And I
Oh,
think that
thank you.
Pinterest, I have not checked out your Pinterest, but I will. I'm on Pinterest. I will check that out. So very cool, very cool.
Well, thank you. I'm new at TikTok too, and I feel like a grandma on there. I
No,
don't
no,
know how to
you're
do
not.
I don't know how to do transitions. I'm not like up with the trends. I'm just like,
Right.
hey, it's another platform to share my
Yeah.
art in a different way. So
Right.
I'm doing my best, but I am often like Googling how to do something on
Oh,
TikTok.
me too, all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I feel like such an old person, but I'm like, there's space for me here. I know there is because
Right.
I see other people in a similar type of space that I
Yeah.
follow and that I like to watch. So just trying to like carve out that space for myself
Yeah.
on all my
Yeah.
platforms. Really, it's like,
Right.
man, it's like screaming into the void sometimes. It's just there's so many creators and makers out
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
it's hard to get like to find your people.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, it's definitely like you got to find like your tribe, and
Mhm.
that can get really tricky because when you leave like a certain place, like you've been on the road 3.5 years, you leave like your tribe, when that was in Lexington, Winston Salem, where the church was. But it's a whole new world kind of thing. So
Mhm.
you're just looking, finding new friends, new experiences, and places like that. So, yeah. Well, so what are you working on now? Show us a little bit, what you have right there.
Well, I'm going to preface it by saying this is like a continuation, sort of an offshoot of a series I started about a year ago. I call it my disaster series, and it really was just like born out of this need to understand the flu pandemic of
Right.
1918 as like a way to maybe inform our
Sure.
future and what we were looking at. And I just found all the imagery to be really powerful. And so I started these abstractions, which I never done before. And I love to do them. They're like, I'm normally so structured and really tight with my lines. There's like not really a lot of room for error normally.
Right.
So these abstractions have been really therapeutic. But then the further I went down the rabbit hole, the more depressing it kind of got. And so
Right. Right.
I was doing all these things based on disasters, but it was just like taking a toll. So I took a break and regrouped and decided I would start to do a series on like animal migrations, which is
Oh,
like
okay.
way,
Cool.
way
Okay.
chiller.
Yeah.
But I don't know how well you can see the piece. I'll bring it a little closer because this one's a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
light. Um,
Okay. Cool.
so the green is obviously the tape. So that's not part of the whole thing.
Right.
But so this is when I started yesterday.
Cool.
And so I'm starting to fill in a little bit of like the migration. All the little dots are animals, and
I
it's
love
just
it.
really, it's fun to like pinpoint different shapes and just kind of break things down to their essence. And it provides a lot of like movement
Right.
and um it's great because you can just I can explore like different techniques too that I would not normally use in my other
Right.
types of work. So
Okay.
it's been really exciting to do these, and people have responded really well. And I've noticed
Yeah.
that a ton of people really like abstract and non-objective work to hang in
Right.
their homes, especially.
That's
So
me.
yeah. And I mean, you're not unlike most people. A lot of people don't really like to have like figures
Right.
in their artwork. And I don't really know what that's about, but I'm still going to
Right.
keep painting my figures because I love that. But
Right.
these are also just like, I don't know, I'm really multifaceted. So it's just
Yeah.
like honoring another part of my artistic journey and doing these kinds of things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's super interesting. And like when you talk about, definite things. So like I'm not a fan personally, it's just not for me, but like Thomas Kincaid,
Yeah.
I mean it's pretty, but like if it's just not for me, just that kind of artwork. But yeah, I personally I'm a musician, I'm not an artist. I can do like Blair Witch stick people, like the logo to that, or so, that's what it would look
Yeah.
like. It's not anything fancy or anything. Yeah, but now did you go to school for art or um
Um, I'm like partially self-taught. I
okay.
went to school for anthropology and
Oh wow,
hence
okay.
hence my fascination with disaster because it's
Right.
just,
Yeah.
that's what you focus on a lot in that line of work. But I also minored in studio art. So I did
Oh,
a
okay.
lot of just like basic, three-dimensional design, two-dimensional design, color
Right.
theory, like, just kind of like surface level stuff, like not like the
Cool.
BFA kids who actually went and had shows and that kind of
Right,
stuff.
right.
But I've always been an artist and I was in school and I'm like, this is going to add another year to my
Right.
graduation date, but I don't really care
Right.
because
Right.
I'm here and I'm paying for it anyway. I might as well like
Yeah.
really utilize this and
Yeah,
do
yeah.
something I want to do.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm
So
like
what
happy.
why no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, you're good.
No, why anthropology? I'm just curious.
It came about in a really organic way.
Okay.
I yeah, used to in my early 20s enjoy debating a lot. And I would
Okay.
always be like on the more soft sciencey kind of side of things, like a little more human, a little more compassionate. And I never knew what anthropology was.
Right.
But my boyfriend at the time, he was just like, he's like, you should go to school for anthropology because every time you argue a point, like that's basically what you're talking about. That's
Right.
like the focus. And I was like, what is this? And it just
Yeah.
opened my eyes to this whole thing where it's like,
Wow.
wow, this is exactly the way that
Right.
I think about things.
Right.
But now I get to have language to put
Hmm.
to it and really
Right.
like more deeply understand, like, I guess what I'm trying to say when I say these things. So
Right. Right.
I thought that I wanted to be a field researcher for a long time, but after getting my BA, I was just like, I I don't know if school is 100% worth it in the current
Right.
climate at the
Right.
moment. So I'm just gonna see what I
Yeah.
can do on my own.
Yeah. Yeah. The school system, you went to UNC Asheville, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the school system, when I was in it, really took a hit with cuts and a lot of my professors, like favorite professors, I was a religious studies major with a music minor. And they got put on like furlough and stuff. So I was like, man, like I'm paying all this money, but like, um, they keep cutting back, people that I want to take classes with, and I was just like, man, I took one anthropology class in college. It was very interesting. I learned a lot. I definitely, you're definitely probably the more expert, to go deeper into that. And that would be definitely like interesting because I didn't know you studied that. But yeah, and we're talking about anthropology, the study of human societies, not the store of women's
Yeah.
clothing. And
No.
yeah, yeah. So just want to make that clear
With
for
a Y. We're
people.
not
Yeah,
an IU with a
right,
Y.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. Um, awesome. Yeah. So yeah, well, very cool. So So you went to college, and is that where you met your partner?
No, I met my
Okay.
partner back in Winston. We've been together 10 years. So I met him about 12 years ago.
Okay.
And
Cool.
I was a manager for valet parking at the Marriott in downtown Winston, and I hired him to
Okay.
be a bellman.
Oh, okay.
And so that's how we met. We started hanging out. He became a part of our friend group, and then
Right.
he moved to Asheville. I moved to Asheville. My
Cool.
boyfriend and I broke up, and then I was like, well,
Right.
like he's my best friend. And it just kind of happened like very organically, probably a little more slowly than he would have liked, but it was just very organic, and we've been happily married for 4 years this
Oh, that's
July.
great. Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. My wife and I, we've been married 13 years in October. Will be 13. So,
Wow.
but we dated for a while, early 20s. I met her, and, we started dating and stuff. But, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And you have a
Very
little
cool.
boy.
Yeah, I have a 6-year-old son. Yeah, I never he was definitely a happy accident. I never planned on being a dad, but it's pretty great. I mean, it's with the pandemic, it's definitely been like a challenge. We've been doing the remote school, and I want to make sure he's still learning and going to getting social interaction and stuff like that. But it's been a challenge, but it's totally been worth it. I mean, I honestly can't complain, like, with the pandemic, how we've been doing. I mean, you know I don't know. I want to see my parents. I haven't seen them in a while, in person, and my grandfather, but I didn't get to see Dune. Dune, the new remake of Dune, got delayed. That's probably like my biggest complaint. Is
Well,
this
that's good then.
I mean,
like the only problem that you really
that's
are having. So
that's totally like a first world problem. And
yeah.
actually, theaters are opening back up, so I might get to see Dune on the live screen as God intended. So that might that'll be awesome, because I'll definitely go see it 2 or 3 times. But
I thought I was the only one excited about Dune.
Oh,
Like,
really?
I keep
Okay.
mentioning it around my friends and family, like talking to them, and they're all like, "What? Why do you care?"
Right.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Well, the cast is amazing, and then I loved the original,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. And the
I'm glad
director,
somebody else is excited."
yeah, man. No, I that was like my whole like thing, like last year, when people I don't know, were like complaining about wearing masks and stuff. I'm like, dude, can you just wear a mask, and like, can we get through this so the movie can come out and I can,
Yeah.
do stuff, I mean, I'm really like, I'm really trying, to be patient, and but it just got really like spread out. It's been terrible. Like people have been more affected, than I have, for sure. I'm definitely privileged, but yeah, it's tricky. The whole COVID situation. But yeah, did you want to show any more artwork that you're working on, or anything else?
Sure, I have my portfolio. I just finished a
Cool.
painting yesterday that I'm stoked about. So I'm gonna pull that one out.
Cool.
Are you on Imgur at all? Do you do Imgur?
Yeah, I have an account. Yeah, on there. Yeah, do you have a page?
Well, yeah, I don't really post a lot. I'm mostly lurking, but this painting was based off of a quote from a comment that I found on a post on Imgur last summer. So it's just funny how things will just hit you and stick with you and like change.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's just funny what we get inspired by, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm fighting my cat right now. He always wants to be on my art stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's what they do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what's their name?
His name is Satu.
Okay.
And he is hell on wheels. So it's been interesting living in a bus with him.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, we have 2 dogs and 2 cats, and they're like, I can't imagine like being on a bus with them.
Yeah, we started this journey with a dog and 2 cats, and then my dog died last
Aw.
summer. He was 14, you know, but I mean, it was horrible, but still it
Yeah.
was, you know, it's not like he
Right.
didn't have a lot of time with us.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's still
but
sad.
now we're down to 2 cats, and I wonder how we ever lived with 3 animals in here, because
Right.
we have 120 square feet of living space.
Right.
So to fit like my practice and then just our lives in here
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
it's been definitely a long journey of like
Right. Right.
figuring out how to make everything work. But
Right.
the cats and the art it's always been a struggle. They want to
Right.
be
Right.
in my art all the time, and they don't understand why they can't just lay on my paintings.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, you can't do that. Yeah. Right.
So this is the latest. I haven't named her yet. I'm trying to orient her. And I love her so much. I haven't named her. I don't know why. I normally name them as soon as
Yeah.
I'm done. But to me, the names are a little superfluous. They're just kind of unnecessary.
Right.
It's more to keep things organized, you know?
Right.
You
Right.
can't just name everything Untitled, like 5,672, you know? It's got to
Right.
be
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
simpler.
I do that sometimes though with pieces. I'm like piece 45 or something. I don't know. Just I'll think up a title later. But
I do that with my liquid light art, and
okay.
it can
Cool.
be very confusing because I do a lot of still photography of that, since I
Oh,
don't have like
cool.
a
Okay.
live audience at the moment.
Right. Right.
And so I have like liquid light art 1
Cool.
through
Okay.
like 200 and something right now.
Right.
And it can just be a little confusing because some of them look similar too. And I'm like, oh shit, is this one
Right. Right.
172 or 176? So then,
Right. Right.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm
Cool.
just jumping around all my different windows and different post-it notes and everything. And
Yeah.
but it's definitely that's been a lot of fun too. That's like also been a practice of mine that's like to get me to relax a little bit and not be
Right.
so
Right.
stiff with my work. Because as you can
Exactly.
see,
Yeah.
like I do a lot of like delicate line work, which I love, but it
Right.
is
Right.
just very restrictive, you know?
Right. Right. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I try not to take my art too seriously. You know, sometimes, you know, like you know, try different things, get out of my comfort zone and stuff like that for sure. But yeah, I love that. I love that piece though.
Thanks.
Very cool. It reminds me. I watched this film. So I'm a big film person. But I watched this film. I'll send you the link. I think it's on. I think the whole thing's on YouTube. But it doesn't have like the subtitles, but it's The Color of Pomegranates. I think you would really like
Oh,
the 1969. It's a Soviet Union filmmaker. I think it's an Armenian. I think.
okay.
Or but it's about like a poet, but there's not really a lot of dialogue and stuff. Just a lot of visual images. They filmed it like in these like abandoned ruins of like these churches and like
Wow.
I forget where it's really beautiful and they use like you know these religious like iconography and stuff and a lot of it is like I guess left up to interpretation. You know, it's not like a definite plot. I can't talk today. You know, it's like, you know, hey, here's this poet, you know, he's born, he lives, and then he dies, you know, kind of thing. It's kind of like that, you know. But super interesting. And I really have been getting into like Soviet Union like artwork, music, and just very like interesting to me. Um, it's on the Criterion channel if you subscribe to that.
I heard you talking about that yesterday. I didn't even
Yeah,
know it was a thing.
yeah. They
We
made
don't
like a
have
streaming.
TV. We
Yeah,
just have streaming services, so I don't
yeah,
know how that works, but
yeah. No, you can. It's just a streaming service. Like when I say
oh,
channel, like it's you know streaming
like an
channel. Like
app.
yeah, you can stream it on like your phone or your tablet or you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I stream it on you know my TV and stuff. But yeah, highly recommend. Highly recommend. And they have a lot of great movies. You know, David Lynch films on there, and um, Stanley Kubrick. Like I was going through like his catalog. It doesn't have the complete catalog, but you know, big fan of you know Stanley Kubrick as well and stuff. So very cool, awesome. Well, Yeah. So trying to think some more questions. What's like your biggest like inspiration, like artist that you really like got into? That I don't know, you're like, man, this person's like a big influence, like it, or do you have one, or is it like, it's probably a mix of people?
Oh yeah, I have so many.
Okay.
I mean, like, oh man, this is hard. It's like you yesterday trying to say which films were
Right.
your favorite. You're just like,
Right.
wait.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously like the folks throughout art history that you learn about.
Right.
Like Van Gogh obviously is like super inspiring. Lots of people like him. I love Frida Kahlo, her whole journey, just like as a woman, as a disabled person.
Right.
I love that. And her artwork is amazing, of course. But like the art that really like visually inspires me, I really love Mark Ryden.
Okay.
He is like, to me, the pinnacle of lowbrow pop surrealism, and like,
Okay.
oh my God, he's incredible. And there's just the detail. He's amazing. He's like,
Okay. I'm looking them
he's
up.
he's goals. Like, I won't be that cool until I'm like in my 60s, maybe if I'm lucky. Um,
Okay.
and then,
Yeah, I think I've seen some of this. Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
he's like got, I don't know, I think he's got a few iconic pieces, but when you're in the world, you don't really know what people outside of the art world know and
right.
don't know about it, you know? But also one of my favorites, I love to watch him on Instagram all the time, is Callan Schwab,
Okay.
I think is how you say it,
Okay.
Schuab. Um, and he's just got this like insane, what he calls this like arena,
Right.
where he has this trapeze of a tray that pours paint, and then he has that canvas on this like spinning thing that he made. He's just
Wow.
like
Yeah. That's so
so
crazy. Yeah.
innovative. And
Yeah.
he's a part of like what he calls the fake art movement, which is like,
Right.
this might be a little too heady, but
Right.
like right now, like there's a big movement of neo-Dadaism, which is basically just like everything
Right.
is art and nothing is art and nothing really matters kind of thing. So
Right. Yeah.
um it's just really, I don't know, I just love watching him work, and he's like so thoughtful about it. But a lot of people look at his work and think that it's so simple, but I watch
Right.
people try to recreate what he does, and it's not as simple as it looks.
Right. No, I'll definitely check it out. I mean, that's super interesting, and I'm, I know some about, the Dada movement, because, more about the music aspect, because we've here in Wilmington, this local record store, Squidco, they posted like a Dada sound poet, from Europe. I opened for him. It was just super interesting. Like I'd never heard like these tone poems, before, and I was like, man, this is like really like interesting stuff, so it's definitely like, I feel like I'm definitely not super knowledgeable about, but definitely would, definitely open to learn more for sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
very
Dadaism to
cool.
me
Yeah,
is fascinating because the movement actually only existed for a couple of years,
right,
but it was so powerful because of when it existed.
right,
Um, and it's really just like post-war, also pre-war type of
right,
period of just like nothing matters, like
right.
this is all temporary kind of feeling. And I feel like it's really relatable right now, and that's sort of why people are
Yeah,
positioning themselves
right,
back in that sort of zone.
right,
But it might be short-lived again too. It's like kind of just being talked about in our community of this like
right.
resurgence of Dadaism.
Yeah. Very interesting. But yeah, I'll definitely would love to check it out for sure. And you have to send me some links. Um, So very cool. Well, yeah. What anything else you want to talk about? Like, or show us another piece? I definitely would love to see
Sure.
more. Yeah.
Let me pick up my portfolio that my insane cat just knocked over.
Oh, really? Yeah.
The
It
whole
sounds like
time we've been talking, he's just been running back and
Right.
forth the length of the bus.
Yeah, it sounds like my cats.
He doesn't really like when things are different, and everything is different right now because this is
Right.
not something I normally do.
Right.
Oh, this one you might think is fun. I don't know. This one also came from an Imgur inspiration.
Oh, okay.
So she's a sandwich.
Okay.
So
So it looks like eggs in there, tomatoes.
maybe you should show some abstractions too. I don't know.
Okay.
I always love my portraits so much because they just make me really happy.
Right.
But this
I love
was
it.
inspired by a book that was printed in the 70s. It's called something like Costumes for Adults and Children, just like super basic name.
Okay.
But it's all these like how to make handmade costumes for your family for a costume party.
Right.
And they have the most ridiculous costumes in it, like a circus tent. I mean, nobody has arms in this whole book. It's all just like a carrot, and you're basically just a head and legs and a carrot.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So they're kind of hilarious to me, and I just love that period of time where
Yeah.
things just seem so lawless and ridiculous. And
Right.
so I was really inspired, and I just kind of did it for funsies, but it got a lot of really good responses on social media, which I was surprised by. I was like, everyone is gonna make fun of me for this.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man. But you really never know how people are gonna react, which is what I love.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's just like artists make work because it's very personal to them, but then once you release it into the world, it belongs to everyone else. So it doesn't really belong to you anymore. So
exactly. Yeah.
It's fascinating to see what people like and what they don't like. So I post pretty much everything, even if I hate it, because I know there's going to be someone out there that's like, oh yeah, that's it, you know?
Right, for sure, yeah.
So here's one of my abstractions.
Oh, okay.
This is from one of the first parts of the disaster series. There we go. This one's about a stranded kangaroo during the floods that came through Australia after the wildfires last year.
Okay.
And I don't know. Like I said, this is kind of just like a way to let loose and to process some of that, because like you were saying, it's nice to sort of zone out of the news, like the doom scrolling.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And I think this was just kind of my way to like process and like eliminate some of that anxiety that we all store while we're just like, we want to stay in touch with what's going on, but then it also is like being stored in our bodies and in our minds. And these paintings are a way for me to just like get them out. And I really liked the results, honestly. I was surprised at myself.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, I just have to tune it out sometimes, you know, because it just gets it really can get like too much, you know. Like I tell my therapist, I'm like, dude, like you know, I don't know, I have to like turn it off, you know, like so awesome. And I'm looking at your Etsy. So your Etsy shop is super cool. I'm looking for your paintings, and I'm gonna post it again in the chat. And definitely, like, you know, check it out. Etsy's awesome. You know, leave a review for sure. I know the reviews help as well. And
I have a shop on my website too, and I actually have more sizing options there than I do on Etsy right now. So I know not everybody is like in the place to get an 11 by 14, whether it's space or cash or whatever. But
cool.
I offer 8 by 12s and 6 by 9s as well.
Awesome. Now let me ask you a question, you know, and we can talk about it if you want to, or if you're like, no, I don't really want to, you know. But have you looked into like one thing that's been fascinating to me is NFTs, like non-fungible tokens. Like, have you gotten into that space yet, or you're like, I'm still, you know?
I don't know about that space. It's been, I really only just heard of this like a couple nights ago, honestly.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
I don't know. I think I might from what I understand of it, I think it's not really a space that I'm like I fit into, I think.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I don't really know enough about it. So I
Okay.
can't
Okay.
really say.
Yeah. No. So I've been looking at it. I haven't created one yet. I'm going to, but I've always been looking for like, the next big thing for like art, So for example, like early 2010s, I was like Spotify. Spotify was the next big thing, after iTunes. So I'm always like, all right, what's the next big thing? Because there's going to be something, big, and that comes out. So yeah, I've been reading a book. A friend of mine wrote from Greensboro. I'll post a link on it, but really like really interesting. I've gotten a little bit in cryptocurrency, like nothing. It's not a huge part of my portfolio, but it's definitely something, I've because I'm like, this could be like probably is going to be the future, of money later on, when Conan, my son, gets my age, be like, why are you using credit cards, Dad? Like, like, you know, but I don't know. And again, I'm not an expert by any means. Like, I'm just like beginner stages. But I've been seeing some that have like original compositions and like art with it. So like I'm like, man, that's kind of interesting way to like collaborate with an artist, and then you'd sell that, um and then each time it gets sold, like you get like a portion of that, which I'm like, man, that's really cool, like how that's tracked, and very interesting to me. But yeah, I was wondering, yeah, if you had been reading about that and stuff, and I definitely want to have somebody on that's like Michael Hayworth is his name, but he's definitely like a nerd about it, and I definitely want to get him on and like explain it to, like a first grade level to me
Yeah,
about that,
that's what
so
I
I can
need.
learn.
That's
Yeah.
what I need. I
Um,
would love to hear that because I really just watched like a TikTok the other night
yeah.
about an artist who sold a piece for like $69 million or something,
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
um, making them like the richest or like the record for like the highest sale, like dollar
Yeah.
amount for something like that.
Right.
I don't even understand it enough to form a sentence. I'm like so, but it all just went way over my head. I'm like, this does not look like it's something that I would ever participate in. But I mean, I'm
Yeah.
interested to see where it goes. I tend to be kind of like slow on the uptake with that stuff because I'm like,
Sure. Yeah.
I'm technologically a little, uh, I don't know. I don't want to say inept, but I'm challenged by technology. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're doing great. Your website looks good. You have an Etsy. I mean, you're killing it. I think. And TikTok. I mean, I don't think that personally, but
well, thank
um,
you. Well, if you saw behind the scenes of my struggles, then you would definitely think that.
well,
But
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
glad on
yeah.
the front side it looks good.
Yeah, but for anybody, yeah, NFT stands for non-fungible token, a digital token that's a type of cryptocurrency, much like Bitcoin or Ethereum. But unlike a standard coin, an NFT is unique and can't be exchanged like for like. So it's non-fungible, So like one Bitcoin is like one Bitcoin, but this is like, it's assigned different values and stuff like that. So, but
Right.
again, I'm still learning about it. I don't know. Because it was weird because I was when I was first hearing about it, it was like I was like, why are people buying NFTs, like videos of like basketball players like dunking, and doing like plays? And I'm not really into sports, but apparently that's like become like a big thing. Like people were spending a lot of money and then reselling it for even more money. I'm like, man, um,
Who's buying these things though?
I don't know. Like
That's my question. I'm like, who is the market here? I don't
I
get it.
think like I don't know, Elon Musk, like children or something. I don't know, his family. I don't know, like it's definitely weird. I mean, it's and some stuff like I found is like pretty cool. Like there's one, it was like Cano in a forest or something, and I was like, man, I really like that. Like that would be kind of cool to own. To own that. But you have to have a wallet. Like I download Meta Wallet, I believe is what I downloaded that, but I haven't I'm still, I like to read about things, know the basics before I like delve into it and
Yeah.
look at it. But yeah, it definitely really interesting. I like learning about new things as well. But I don't know. It's for artwork, it could definitely be like a new opportunity for sure. For artists and stuff like that. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know enough about it yet.
Well, according to that person on TikTok, it's like the future of artwork.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've not really gotten into the digital space at all. So I think
Right.
to me, it just seems so far-fetched that like traditional artwork would ever not
Right.
be a presence. I'd like,
Right.
I think a lot of people like physical artwork and something
Yeah.
that can just be like replicated easily.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
I'm not tapped into what like, Gen Zers are really about.
Yeah.
So it could
Yeah.
be the future is digital, like everything digital. But I hope beyond hope that there's still room for a paintbrush in there somewhere, because I've
Right.
tried digital painting and it just doesn't feel the same.
Right.
Um, I don't know. There's just something about like a traditional, like analog style of artwork that I
Yeah.
connect
Yeah.
to more. And I know that
Right.
there's other people out there like that. And
Yeah.
to think that, everything has to be digital is, I don't know, that sounds insane
Yeah.
to me. But I'll probably be dead by the time that happens. So I won't have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Well, my son, I mean, he's not used to like he picks up like pictures like in picture frames, and he does his finger like he thinks it's a tablet, like he just doesn't understand, So I mean, and
Yeah.
so yeah, he like I think it's definitely different because he's expecting he's already expecting like different things like like live TV, like we're watching something like we don't have cable, but if we're at like my in-laws and they have the TV on, or they put it on a channel for kids or something, he just doesn't understand like why we can't pause the program, or why there's commercials, stuff like that. So he's like beyond live TV, or he just doesn't he doesn't understand. He thinks it's streamed and you can pause it, you can go back,
Right.
you can watch anything. And I'm just like, no, I mean, like live TV is like happening now, and he just doesn't get that. He's just like,
That
I don't
is
know.
so bonkers. Like
Yeah.
that I mean, he's young, but still like
Yeah.
he lives in a world where things are just
Right.
very present. Everything is like,
Right.
how do you want it, when you want it,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And
so, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something
right.
that's going to inform the way that he thinks about the world and grows and
Right.
understands things. So that's so
Yeah.
interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's pretty much like, and then he has like a mentality, um, like he asked me, well, when you were a kid, like, what did you watch on Netflix? I'm like, I didn't have Netflix, and he got really sad, and I was just like, I just didn't have that, no need to be sad, but
Oh,
it was VHS, back in my day, that's what we watched, and live TV, and he just couldn't understand that, and he asked, my wife, Jenna, he's just like, did you have Netflix? And she's like, no, that just didn't exist, and he's never been into like I mean, they're still around every, like rural towns, I guess, and stuff, but like a video rental store, like he doesn't know what that is. Like,
right, right.
that's like
I
way,
actually saw one of those recently and was like,
yeah,
oh, I didn't know that
right,
still happens
yeah,
in places.
yeah, yeah, no, no, like every now and then, you'll bump into one, like I think maybe like Family Video. I don't know if they're
Yep.
still around. Um, and then these like really rural towns, that don't have good internet access. They're definitely uh, you know, looking for since I can't stream, they'll do Redbox or the the rental place. But yeah, Family Video. I haven't seen one in a while, but I'm sure they still exist in some places.
I think there's still one in Lexington, North Carolina, but that makes sense because it is a
Right.
small place.
Right. That makes
so that
sense.
makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense.
Yeah. And if I lived in Lexington, yeah, I would definitely like use it for sure. I loved my video store in Greensboro. Video Review was called, and I could go in there and I'd be like, I want to watch a movie about blah 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 and stuff, and they were like film nerds that work there, and they'd just be like, here you go, this movie, it's great, so they were awesome. They're awesome.
I'm so bad. I'm not really super into films, so I'm like really grateful for streaming services because I'm like a series type of person.
Okay.
Which is I don't know. I could really break it down and get down to the nitty gritty, but
Right.
that's not necessary. But I just like the flow of a series better because the arc is normally like through the whole series instead of just through an hour and a half or whatever, or 3 hours, however long the movie is. But I'm definitely like a very typical artist where I like to listen to true crime stuff all the time and like watch true crime stuff. Like that's what I do when I paint. I listen to things about murderers and
Yeah, I like that too. I like so you're a true crime series.
Yes,
Okay.
which I think
Cool.
I'm gonna have to cut back on while Kyle is traveling for work because I get a little scared sometimes. I don't even realize.
I would too, yeah.
And then I get paranoid and I'm like, wait, this is just because I've been listening to like 16 straight hours of murder mystery podcasts. That's it.
Right. Yeah, Coley 16, she says Family Video shut down in Lexington, Winston-Salem. Yeah. So that's what they said. Yeah. So
thanks to Coley.
Yeah. So that's good to know. So because I was
hi.
Yeah. Oh, hey. Awesome. Very cool. So awesome. So I like I watch a lot of true crime stuff and and stuff about cults too. Like I'm just like obsessed with like I don't know if you watched The Vow on HBO.
Yes.
Oh yeah. That was hard to watch for me. I won't give it away, but like some of the stuff, like especially like to the women, I'm like, damn, like I don't know. It's like I'm like, all right, can a man be a piece of shit even more? And then then it's like lowers the bar, what he was doing, and then and then it's like, oh well, it was for this or something, and I'm just like, man, like way to lower the bar, I think his name was Keith, I'm like, man, you're like an awful person, but it comes across as like a guru and stuff. Oh, there's my son.
Hi.
Hey.
Why is it not gonna let me play this?
I don't know, because we probably got to charge it, little buddy. Hey. So hey, this is Conan.
Hi, Conan.
Oh, it's I'll have to see, buddy. I'll have to see. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll check in in 1 minute. Okay. Why don't you go do iPad or something? Okay.
Why is it taking so long?
I don't know, bud. We'll have to see. I love you, buddy. I'll be. Oh, it's doing something. Yeah, we'll have to take a look. I'll probably have to fix it or something. Okay. All right. So, I love you, buddy. Cool, but yeah, close that door too, bud, if you don't mind. Thank you. He's playing his. He got a Nintendo Switch for
oh, nice,
for Christmas, and so
nice.
he loves that thing. I'm like, and he's like asking me, oh, like, what's this, or this character. I'm like, dude, I had no idea, like Mario, like, but he knows like all about that, and
Yeah, I just play Mario Kart. That's like my only video game.
Mario Kart's great. Like I love that.
I really just like that it's social, and I don't
Yeah.
like all of those like Mario Party. I'm like, whatever.
Right.
I like the social aspect of it. Like we're all gonna play Mario Kart, like make some drinks, sit down, talk shit. It's
Yeah,
fun.
for
You just
sure.
get to
Yeah,
like
that's
yell at
great.
each other
Yeah.
and crash into each other. It's fun.
Yeah. Awesome. So we got another, let's see, at
It's Angela, my older
ATV.
sister.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Hi.
Awesome. I'm saying hey back. Awesome. Very cool. Awesome. She says, good eye. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah. So yeah, what was I talking about? I was talking about like the
And
yeah,
the
the show.
Nixium thing?
Yeah, it's just great, and then I'm watching the one about Heaven's Gate. I think it's on HBO Max. CNN made it or something, and it's just really like fascinating to me because I grew up, not necessarily in a cult, but I saw a lot as a missionary kid, different things and beliefs, and I've always been like interested. And I was a religious studies major, so I'm kind of like interested, like kind of the same as you, like why do people do certain things and believe, and just like curious, and
Yeah.
so yeah, it's really interesting.
I mean, that's why in my anthropological brain, when I watch things about cults, it's always kind of like, for a while in the beginning, you're like, it's fine. Like they believe something different, but like it basically
Right.
functions the same way as other big religions. And so I have all this
Right.
like reasoning that goes into like why it's
Sure.
fine. But then there's always like some weird turn that they take.
Right.
Which is also fascinating because it's just like, it really examines what
Yeah.
power does to someone and how easily it's manipulated.
Right.
So like Wild Wild Country, I think is the
Yeah,
best
that's a great one. Yeah.
cult documentary out there. And they are like such an incredibly fascinating group to me, especially because the money they had, how heavily they militarized, and you see that a lot of different cults. But oh man, just like Jonestown too, just like what happened between like peace and love and AKs, like there's something crazy that happened there with somebody, like some light switch just,
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I remember like, as a kid, like seeing video of that, my parents had like ministry videos about cults and stuff. And I remember like seeing Jim Jones and I don't know, it's interesting. Like, I mean, they're good things. I mean, like building a community and like equality and stuff like that, but it just got so twisted. And actually, I have like recordings, like I collect like just odd like religious like recordings and stuff like that. But I have like a Jim Jones like worship service on cassette, and like the music's really good. And like I was like, man, if I like had been around that, I would have probably been into that, and like the talk of like, socialism and different things, I probably would have been, inequality and anti-racism and stuff, I mean, all those are like great things, but it just got really crazy, and the paranoia, and of the government and stuff like that. And that's why I don't know, I'm kind of like, I don't really, I'm not super political, I guess, like with getting involved in groups, because it kind of feels like when I have in the past, it's kind of like, oh man, this kind of feels like church or something, like I kind of us against them, and I kind of like not a huge fan of that, or selling Avon products or stuff like, I don't know. It's just kind of weird.
No, I totally get what you're saying. Any sort of like group
thing,
think is kind of scary because like if it's left unchecked, we've seen it a million times and we continue to see it. It's left unchecked and then there's all these power struggles and sometimes things get out of control and people like good, smart, you know,
Right.
independently minded people get sucked into things.
Right.
And so I
Right.
think the
Yeah.
fear is just like, well, you know, if I keep it at arm's length, then I will be less likely to get sucked into your crazy
Right.
cult and be a sex slave or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, I would love like one day to start like my own cult. I mean, that would be like awesome.
Right.
Like I was thinking of calling it, like the Church of Harrison Ford. He's like the best actor ever, but we just like get together and we watch Harrison Ford movies and hang out. I mean that'd be awesome, awesome church. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, for me,
you know,
it's like, as long as there's no exchange for sexual favors and power,
right? Yeah, yeah,
or these
exactly.
sort of like
Yeah,
blood rituals,
yeah,
then normally things can stay on track pretty well. So as long as you keep those
yeah,
things in mind, then your cult should work out fine.
yeah, and just get nonprofit status, and
Yeah.
you know, um,
Don't pay taxes.
yeah, exactly. Funnel all the money into that and stuff. But
Yeah. Yeah.
on a serious note, though, I do want to talk about real quick, and then we can get back. But there is a nonprofit I do work for part time. I'm on the board, and they're called the Northwest Youth Corps. And I'm going to post their link, but it's a local nonprofit here in Wilmington, North Carolina. They're doing a lot of great stuff. And I'm kind of like the social media person, stuff like that. But I'm going to post it in the chat. Definitely check it out.
Oh,
And
nice. Yeah.
feel free to like donate, and stuff. The money,
Yeah.
goes to like, giving the kids, we take them on like field trips and all kinds of stuff. But it's a really awesome like organization. And the executive director is Aria Solomon. She's an awesome lady, just really cool like idea. She's an artist as well. I want to have her on here
Oh,
as
yeah. That'd
well.
be
But
great.
yeah, her stuff's like amazing. Like I love like her artwork, and I love for her to be on here and show it off. Like what you're doing and stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. But anyway, just want to shout out for them, the Northwest Youth Corps, and feel free to go check it out. And the pandemic, like we weren't able to do a lot of field trips last year, like we were doing,
Right.
but like we were taking like kids in need to like the aquarium and like Carolina Beach, State Park, and teaching them things about like glass artwork, and different things like that. So really like, and she was giving like free art classes, in the school, and just like really awesome stuff. So, doing really, really good work here in Wilmington. There was like a big need for that, So,
Oh, yeah.
so yeah, I guess with like, instead of politics, I'd try to get involved with like stuff like that,
Well, that's
Um,
something that you can actually
you know,
do and have
right.
control over. And like, you can
Yeah,
see the impact in people's lives instead of just
right,
thinking everything's on fire and the
right,
world is
exactly.
ending,
Yeah, yeah,
'cause it's really easy to get wrapped up in that.
yeah, yeah. And nothing against people that are politically involved, it's just not something I'm good at probably, or have a lot of control and stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I mean, you got to do what you can where you can, and beyond that,
yeah,
it's just like, try to stay. I try to stay aware. I feel like people should be
yeah,
aware of things, but if you're aware of
right,
everything, your brain's going to explode. You also have to live
exactly.
your
Yeah,
life
yeah,
and
right,
find balance in your own life and relationships, and that's like
right.
more important in a lot of ways. So
Yeah, yeah. No,
there's
for
nothing
sure.
wrong with not being political, I don't think. I
Right,
just think that we're in a very politically charged world right now for very good reasons, but
right, right,
I try to encourage people to not feel bad about checking out in ways that they can, because you
right.
can't carry it all yourself. That's what we're all
Yeah,
here
yeah,
for, to balance each other out.
right. So, that's very true. And like my wife, she'll get home from work and she'll be like, oh, like, I just want to watch something funny or something, so she can't, she doesn't want to deal with like heavy stuff, and, but yeah, so I'm interested. So you've been on the road like 3.5 years, like living on a bus. So I kind of want to talk about that. So
Okay.
what's like the craziest thing that you've seen or happened, or I was curious about that.
Well, okay, well, we've only been traveling for a year and a half. We've been in the bus 3.5 years,
Okay,
but year and a half,
okay,
but
okay,
still, that's plenty of time to rack up some interesting experiences.
yeah, okay,
Um, But, you know, a year of it has been pandemic style. So
Right.
there hasn't been a lot of exploration. It's just been a lot of like working and sleeping and working and, you know, nothing
Right.
exciting. But something that I think I'll remember forever because of
Okay.
the pandemic.
Okay.
So last February, our bus, we took it in to have some work done. It ended up being like we needed to have a lot of work done because the bus is 20 years old.
Right.
So hoses, new wires, like all sorts of stuff. All of
Right.
it has to be custom made. So it took 3.5 weeks to get this done. But this was all happening about an hour's train ride outside of New York City. And I love New York. So
Right.
I was going into New York City every weekend, and once by myself and then twice with Kyle. And the day that I was by myself, I was just like in Chinatown because I'm also obsessed with Asian food, bao specifically. So I'm like
Great.
in Chinatown,
Yeah.
crossing the street, and it's like one of those really wide crosswalks. So there's just like crap tons of people.
Right.
And this was the pandemic. Like we knew that coronavirus was happening in China, and it had not hit. It was like a few weeks before the first case
Right.
in the United States. But I still remember kind of being like acutely aware of it and a little worried about it because
Sure.
I'm like, well, you know, there's a lot of international flights in and out of here. If it's going to show up, it might show up here because it's like
Right.
a huge hub.
Yeah.
But I was just like, you know, whatever, it's not going to get us.
Right.
But I just remember crossing this crosswalk and this man sneezes and he turns to sneeze and turns and sneezes directly into my face.
Oh my gosh.
And I
Oh,
was horrified. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? Oh my God. And like, imagine if we'd already been wearing masks and stuff. I'm like, oh, this would have been like way easier on my mind. But I was sort of
yeah.
freaked out when we get back to the
Yeah.
hotel.
I'd be freaked out.
I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to get the coronavirus? Am I going to be like patient zero? This is insane. Like my anxiety was through the roof because already
Yeah.
like, first of all, it's like cover your mouth if you're sneezing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Second of all, like that's just rude in general, like
Yeah.
even since pandemic. But then what made it worse was that there's a looming pandemic going on. And
Right.
I just
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
like a week later, everything shut down. And I was just like, holy crap, I barely, like in my mind, I'm like, I barely escaped being like one of the first coronavirus patients in America.
Right.
I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for, but that's like something I think I will always remember.
Yeah. No, that's a great story.
That in driving through New York with our whole caravan of the bus, our car, and then our friend's truck and trailer, driving through Times Square has got to be like one of the trippiest things. Like,
Yeah. I bet.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Those vehicles in my mind don't belong there. They belong in like the desert or something.
Yeah. No, that I'm getting like a mental image of that right now. Like, you know, something like out of a film or something, you know, the side of that, you know, like a care. Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, I love New York. You know, I definitely want to go back. Dude, I have not traveled like over an hour anywhere like since the pandemic started. And I went to a wedding in Topsail, which is an hour away, to play a wedding gig. And honestly, I was not a really pleasant person because I was wearing a mask. Nobody was wearing masks. And it was in like a chapel, which I didn't like that because it was enclosed. And then I found out, you know, my parents had just gotten COVID, and my dad got it really bad. He recovered, but I mean, he got like double pneumonia, and like, you know, he had his heart condition and stuff, and he's doing better, which thankfully, you know. But so, you know, people were just trying to come up to me. I'm just like, look, I'm usually a nice person, but like, you're not wearing masks and 6 feet, you know. And I was kind of anal about it, but I was like, I don't want to get sick, you know. Like I take care, you know, I watch my son, and like, I want to live, you know. So you know, and I just, you know, I still didn't know a lot about the virus, you know, and like, you know, still learning about it. So yeah, that definitely would freak me out too. Like if somebody sneezed right in my face, like in New York City.
Well, and we had a really challenging experience with the pandemic with
Yeah.
traveling because we're always in a different place. And for
Right.
a long time, actually, for about 5 months, there were no campgrounds open.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
we were purely living off grid, which is pretty challenging when it comes to things like trash, which is something a
Right.
lot of people don't think about in their daily lives, but it's very
Right.
present to us living this way.
Right.
And just where we can legally throw the trash or where
Right.
we can sneakily, illegally throw the
Right.
trash.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's,
Um,
yeah.
and just staying charged up on our batteries and making sure everything is like, as it should be. And it also, like, we noticed that it took a huge toll on us sleeping in parking lots only because you never have any space outside of your own
Right.
vehicle. And so it's like it was really challenging for us to, I mean, of course, like deal with the new onslaught of information about the pandemic, but then
Yeah.
also continuing to work and kind of being terrified of being out there in the world and always just like going into a different Lowe's. I mean, everybody having
Yeah.
each town we went to, everyone had like their own vibe going on with the mask mandates and everything.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely anxiety inducing, and I didn't really realize it until we went home to visit my parents and like park at their house for a little while. And I was just like, oh my God, I had no idea how stressed I was until I was here and like felt
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah. That definitely would be stressful for sure. Like, that's crazy. Uh, the I think one thing that would be nice, like, I get a lot of junk mail every day. So if I lived on a bus, I feel like you can't be targeted as much. I
No,
mean,
but you
yeah,
still have to have a mailing address for like
right,
everything. So it just goes to my mom's house and she has to deal with
yeah,
all of it. And
right,
she's like, for a while, she'd be like saving all of it. And then she's like, I'm just going to throw away the crap. And I'm like, please do. I don't want it anyway.
yeah, yeah. That's
And
normally because every day it's like uh, letter for loan or credit card.
yeah,
I mean, it's like if you have like a good credit score, I mean, it's like every day, it's like something. I'm like, dude, like this is so wasteful. Like,
oh, yeah,
I hate it. Like, and it's kind of harassing too. I don't know, like it's starting to get like out of control. Or if you donate to a political campaign like one time, it's like a
right.
virus. Like you can't get rid of it.
Well, I'm going to start making my own papers. So you can send me your junk mail if you want. And
Okay,
I'll just recycle it into handmade paper.
there you go. Yeah, cool. I mean, I recycle it. It goes in the recycle,
Yeah.
but it's just like, man,
But some of it can't be recycled even because it's like got that layer of whatever on it,
yeah,
plastic,
that's right. Yeah, yeah,
whatever. And they do it because it looks so nice, but then it's just like,
yeah,
this is trash now.
right.
You realize
Exactly. Yeah,
you're using resources
right,
to make trash.
right. That are gonna get thrown away. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it probably I don't know how successful they are. With like that kind of marketing. I feel like sometimes well, we're just doing it because there was a budget. And this person makes money, kind of like campaign ads. The people that really succeed are not the American people, but it's the people that broadcast the ads and make the ads and stuff. That's the big winners. But yeah, that's really interesting.
I mean, I'd
Um,
love to see everything go paperless personally. Like
yeah, yeah,
I don't do anything via mail except for ship prints. And that's
right,
like, I mean, even that is just like, well, how can I do this in a way that's like the least
right.
intrusive as far as like environmental impact goes?
Sure, yeah,
But I mean, I currently drop ship everything, which is great. I just like, so I don't have to keep inventory because I did
that's
do that
great.
for a
Yeah,
while, but
yeah,
it's really challenging in the bus,
right,
and already not having enough space for all of my different interests. So
right, right,
I drop ship currently, and that's awesome because the company that I use to print, they they use everything that's recyclable with the exception of a very thin sheet of foam.
oh, that's
So
great. Yeah, awesome.
yeah, so it's cardboard boxes all the way, and that that can be kind of expensive to do on
Right.
my own unless
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
building my own boxes. So there's always this struggle of like, how can I have the least negative impact on the environment, but while also trying to like thrive in a capitalist society that
Right.
is like kind of crumbling also. So,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, it's something that I always think about. I don't know if
Right.
other artists are the same, but I'm sure that there are people out there who think about that. Even just the impact of like the paints that we use, or
Right.
you know, how much paper am I using just for no reason? You know, I try to be
Right.
very intentional, and it's because
Right.
of things like that. And it's like I know that I'm not myself going to outweigh the impact
Right.
of like all of that junk mail, but
Right.
in some way, like we were saying, it kind of makes me feel like I have a little more control, at least. Like,
Right. Right. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
at least
No.
maybe I'm trying my best, and if we
Yeah.
all try our best, maybe it can do something.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. No, that's definitely no, that's definitely great. I love to hear like who you use for drop shipping. Just that's very interesting.
I mean, I currently use MPix,
Impact.
um,
Okay.
and they offer a lot of different types of printing. And I know a lot of people like Printable, and I mean, there's
Right.
so
I've heard of
many
printable. Yeah.
companies out there. I'm trying to streamline my printing service right
Right.
now, and it's I don't know, it's definitely a challenge especially from a traditional art standpoint of
Right.
like getting something digitized in order to print it is also very expensive and
Right.
lengthy
Right.
process. And so MPix actually just jacked up their shipping costs. So I'm like,
Oh, okay.
I don't know, I might be shopping around honestly, but there's
Yeah.
um you know, the type of prints that I sell are archival, and so they're expensive prints to begin with. And so I'm
Right.
trying to figure out a way to like, I want my art to be more accessible to people who maybe don't have, you know,
Right.
$50 to spend on a print. But I also am trying to figure out how to like manage the quality on that too, because I don't want the
Right.
quality to be so
Right.
poor that it's not
Right.
even worth the $20 that you're going to give
Right.
me.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No,
so that's just
yeah.
a matter of trial and error of just ordering prints for myself to see in my hands like what things look and feel like, you know.
Right. Right. Well, like I said, your Etsy store, I mean, looks awesome. Like, definitely
Thank you.
check it out. I probably, when we get off, I probably will. You probably see an order for me. You know,
Oh my
I love,
God, that
yeah,
would be so
yeah,
great.
yeah. So,
Thank you.
definitely, I love Etsy, and you know, I think my wife, you know, would like it too. So very cool.
Yeah, Etsy is great because there's a built-in customer base there, which is something that
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I've had
yeah.
my website for a long time, but it's so hard to
Right.
acquire customers.
Sure. Yeah.
And you know, unless someone's specifically Googling like lowbrow pop surrealist art
Right.
or like
Right.
colorful
Yeah.
abstractions, you know, which a lot of people
Right.
aren't. That's
Right.
not the way people work.
Right.
Maybe they just want like something pink to match their rug, you
Right.
know? So
Yeah.
Etsy is,
Yeah.
is a great way for people to really like engage in things that they normally wouldn't see,
Right.
just by simply searching like pink art.
Right.
And if
Right.
I have the word pink in my description, then you're going to see it.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's all about, you know, I know Etsy's all about, you know, keywords for sure, you know, just the
Yes.
keywords and like the to pull it up, but very cool. Well, awesome. Well, I was wondering, you know, and this is up to you, you know, before we go, we got a few more minutes, but would you want to give us a tour of your bus? I know you got your phone. It's up to you. You know, I don't want to like impose or anything.
I mean, it's kind of a mess right now.
Okay, okay,
And
all
like,
right, all right.
I was
Yeah.
not prepared. Well, I basically just tore everything open to get all my art stuff out.
Okay,
And
okay, that's fine. Yeah, yeah. Maybe definitely another time though. I'd love to see. Like, I'm just curious. You know, like I said,
yeah,
you know, no pressure or anything. You know, I was just like, I would love to see like, you know, just you know, the space and stuff. Yeah, it's very interesting to me.
well,
So.
I do have an Instagram for our bus too.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's our Tiny Bus Adventure is
Okay.
our name.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Okay, I can look at that. Okay.
So you can follow us there, and like I do tours and just kind of like break things down, and um
Okay, cool.
all sorts of info on there. I thought about linking it with my other socials, but then I was like, I don't know, that's not what this is about.
Okay.
But I
Yeah,
kind of, because everything sort of comes back to the bus and the way we live.
right.
It's really informed like my body of work in the past couple of years too.
Right.
It's been a huge transition because before this, I was working on pieces that were, most like almost the size of myself. And so,
Okay.
like refocusing into a world where things fit into a 16 by 20 piece of paper has been a huge challenge. So I guess it all kind of informs each other, it's cyclical, the bus and the art.
Yeah. I'm posting that link. I found it. I posted it in the chat.
Cool.
So
Thank you.
People can check it out. Yeah. Awesome.
Nice.
Look at that. Okay, cool. Very cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, anything else you want to talk about or anything? We've kind of gone over time, but I mean, that's totally fine.
Yeah. No, I mean, I could literally talk about art forever. So
Cool.
if in the future you'd like me on again and we could maybe even get more specific about it, or
that'd be great. Yeah,
we
absolutely.
can chat about that. No, because like this is like all that goes on in my brain all the time. So I could talk about it all day.
Yeah, no, I definitely, love to like see more art and like, talk more about it. And I'm definitely like learning a lot because I don't, be honest, it's just not my field. So I'm just, I love to like talk to knowledgeable people about it. And yeah, I would love that. We definitely set up another time and definitely everybody that's watching, go to Kristin's Etsy, Kristin Kahl. Thank you for saying for correcting me at the beginning. Yeah. Because I didn't, I do not want to say it wrong for sure.
No, this is my big break. I want people to get my name right. So
we got a fan. Love Kristin's work. Awesome.
Yay!
Aaron Ella, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Aaron. You're the sweetest. I love you.
Yeah, but definitely, definitely go to her Etsy. I'm all about supporting other artists. I mean, definitely go to her Etsy, buy her shit. Yes. Follow her on Instagram, follow her on TikTok. The TikTok videos are awesome. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, thanks for being like the first artist, painter person on my video. You're the first one, and it's been really cool, and we've definitely gone over time. But I mean, it's been really interesting conversation.
I'm all right with that. I appreciate you reaching out because this has been really, really fun. I don't often get to geek out about artwork.
Yeah, no, I love it.
I love
it. I love it. It's great. Awesome. Well, I hope everybody has a good day, and check out in the comments and the description. Go to her website, check it out.
Yay. Thanks, Judson. I appreciate you.
No problem.